maybe this is hinting that she will return again after all. Then we get my favorite moment from the new opening. That's right, you've probably heard about it by now. It's the big return we've all been waiting for. The enchanting curator from the Pewter City Museum. Okay, not him, but more on that later. In reality, it was just Iris and Gary. Wait, Iris and Gary? I was shocked to see both of these. Then a wild Glazed appears. Okay, no, it's actually the guy from before, whose name is Rinto. He has this calm yet kind of off-putting demeanor about him, and he just matter-of-factly states that Farfetch'd is strong, but inadequate. That's how you know this guy is fancy. He uses words like inadequate to describe something. The episode wraps up back at the Cerise Park, where Ash and Pikachu are now holding leagues themselves to show that they're going to work hard together with Farfetch'd in order to battle more in unison and become League Masters. My next point of contention with this episode was that it just kind of pretended like the previous episode never even happened. There was no mention and no sighting of Ash's Dracovish, and what happened to Chloe and Eevee? I thought they were traveling with Ash and Go now. I can only imagine this was the scene when the three of them were traveling back from Galar.
Well, what about that girl who keeps following you?
Don't forget about my bike, Ash Ketchum! I'm gonna follow you till you pay me back!
I know! Pikachu, let's try to lose her!
Wait up, Ash!
You won't get away!
Number 3, Stefan Sock. I bet you didn't expect to see this one break the top 3, did ya? Maybe I'm massively overhyping Stefan Sock, but I don't really care because I think this thing is incredibly underrated. It belonged to a minor rival whose most unique quality was having an easily mispronounceable name, but seriously, this Sock was incredible. I'll explain. Its debut wasn't all that exciting, with it losing fairly easily to Iris's Emolga. But then again, Iris did have to use Static and Attract to win, and those techniques can pretty cheaply take down even the strongest opponents. Sock's next appearance was in this Wishing Bell Festival Challenge thing that was really weird, but hey, Stefan did win the whole thing with Sock, so I guess we can mark that down as an accomplishment. Then we can really get to the reason why I have Sock ranked so high. One of my favorite parts of the Best Wishes series was all of the tournament arcs, including the Club Splosion tournament. They spent 4 whole episodes on this tournament, and at the end of it all, the final was between Stuban and Montgomery? Who? A random character that only appeared during this tournament and never again? Okay, so that's kind of weird, but anyways, the facts don't lie. The anime spent 4 whole episodes on this tournament building up Steven's Sock, only for it to command the Club Splosion crown after it got basically an entire episode dedicated to how awesome it is. Cut to the Unova League, and when it was finally time for Ash and Stefan's battle, we knew it was going to be a real challenge for Ash to defeat this absolute buzzsaw of a Pokemon. Sure enough, Sock was the last Pokemon to enter the battle, and it managed to defeat Ash's Leavanny despite activating its Swarm ability and taking several powerful hits from its X-Scissor. This meant it all came down to Sock vs Crocodile, and what ended up being the shining moment for Ash's underrated Unova ace. Sock put up one heck of a fight, and it looked like it was on its way to victory before Ash and Crocodile pulled out an aerial ace attack from out of nowhere to win the match. I still remember my jaw dropping the first time I saw that ending. It was an incredible way to end the rivalry and defeat this powerful Sock. Well, that was kind of a boring episode. I wonder what the next episode will be about.
モンスターボールゴー
スイ君が新しく図鑑に登録されます。
Wait, what? Part of my reasoning to back this up is because part of the episode title is calling Suicune the guardian deity of water, and I don't know if Suicune is usually referred to like that, but if it is considered a guardian, it seems like Go would be willing to let it go so it could continue doing guardian deity things. I mean, he did just give away a Dugtrio so that it could be the guardian deity of some guy's farm, so I think he'd accept that Suicune has a higher purpose than just sitting in the Cerise Park all day.
メイソン大活躍ね。急いで行ったけど私たちの出番はなかったみたい。
いいさ。
I wasn't sure how we were eventually going to get to it, but I thought this was a fun little story with Chloe healing the injured Rapidash. Now, let's check back in on Ash, Go, and Opal, and Bow and Leia and see how things are going. Oh my, Pink! Looks like they're having a great time. Seems like with every wrong answer to one of her questions, Opal has decked them out in more pink clothing, Pikachu and Cinderace included. Well, at least one of them seems to be enjoying their new look. So the episode opens with Ash and Go having a sword fight with leeks. This was such a random way to start an episode. Of course, back in episode 51, Ash pledged to become a leek master with his Farfetch'd, and that's his reasoning for doing this kind of training. This weird start to the episode would factor into things later, so we'll talk about it then. Ash and Go leave the battling to them, and they try to go for the key, but Wickstrom steps in and starts to fight back with his sword. And here is where we get that callback to the opening scene with that leek sword fight, which I cannot believe actually ended up being relevant to the rest of this episode. Maybe this is just me, but whenever I see someone in the anime say Hasam, the Japanese name for Scizor, I automatically think back to this moment. While at the ramen stand, Ash has backwards hat mode activated and chugs an entire bowl of ramen. Oh, and of course they happen to run into the Psyduck guy that's in the picture with Krissa. Alright, what is happening in this episode? Now Chloe and Krissa are sniffing oils back at her apartment. I felt kind of weird at a couple points in this episode because I was watching a girls' night sleepover, but this just made me question what the heck even goes on at a girls' sleepover? Smelling essential oils? That's not exactly what me and my friends used to do when we slept over at each other's houses. Don't worry though, the ridiculousness doesn't stop there, as suddenly Chloe is dressed up like a Psyduck because apparently these were the only pajamas Krissa had to loan to her. I guess it's time for bed already, and then they start having a conversation before they go to sleep. And again, I mean, the kinds of sleepovers I used to go to as a kid usually involved playing video games until someone passed out at around 5 a.m., but apparently that doesn't happen on girls' night. Instead, Chloe lies in bed and starts telling Krissa how beautiful and hardworking she is, and Krissa starts telling the story about a bad day she had, and then a Psyduck found her crying on a bench in the next episode is going to be another 2-for-1 special. Oh god, not this again. Strap yourselves in, we've got a double feature of Ash and Go getting stuck in a pack of Gulpin, and everyone's favorite classic, the tortoise and the other tortoise. Well, my expectations for next week are on the floor. Ash's confidence in his Pokemon lifts Farfetch'd spirits, and it's time to get serious. They launch a flurry of Fury Cutters and actually start to land a few hits. More specifically, and maybe this is just what it looked like to me, but it looked like Farfetch'd landed 1, 2, 3 critical hits, and oh boy, here we go. We know what that blue light means. I spent most of this episode asking myself,
So, how long is it gonna be till the big Evolverama?
and the evolution sequence was really cool. When Mopley and friends get to the job, the Tauros guy says that he already gave his Pokemon over to some other handymen, and sure enough, it was Team Rocket in disguise. Ash and Go ask them if they accidentally took the Tauros, and Ash says that they look familiar. And hold on, since when is Ash able to see through Team Rocket's disguises? Once Meowth starts talking, Ash is convinced and says,
Those lame disguises don't fool us. What kind of trouble are you three up to this time?
well, okay, he doesn't say that, but I'll take any excuse to use one of my soundboard clips. I don't have a whole lot else to say, really. Get it? A whole lot else to say? Okay, I apologize. Let's just move on. Ash and Go are getting interviewed for some reason, which I'm sure will go well. Ash has a great track record of being a good TV interview.
It says here that winning trainers should conduct themselves with dignity and restraint.
Woohoo! I won! Yeah! I'm gonna win every battle just like I did this one! Hi, Mom!
Hey everyone, it's Mark. And guys, we finally did it. We hit 1,000 subscribers. Come on! Why am I wearing a suit? Everyone goes out to practice for the race, and I actually really like this scene when the opening theme kicked in out of absolutely nowhere. Before I go any further though, since when could humans in the Pokemon anime breathe underwater? Was I the only one who was really confused at how Ash, Go, Chloe, and even Pokemon like Eevee who aren't water types were suddenly able to freely swim, breathe, and talk underwater like it's nothing? Please tell me I wasn't the only one who was thinking this. I think it's actually pretty likely that Go could catch Moltres, and if he does catch another legendary, I am ready to watch the world, and specifically the comments section, burn, because didn't everyone just love it the last time Go caught a legendary? I think that was universally accepted by all the fans, so I'd expect a similar response if Go did catch Moltres, right? After a series of attacks, Absol goes straight in to land the decisive blow, and well, I actually played this clip at the start of the video. This is when Absol basically risks its life to save the mountain from erupting, and Go catches it in order to save Absol. So anyways, after Go saves Suicune, he tries to release it since he only caught it in order to protect it, but it declines and chooses to stay with him instead. Wait, hold on. We're not talking about Suicune, this was Absol. This was so strange to me. This whole scene was exactly like the Suicune episode, but, well, not as cool since it was just an Absol, not Suicune. So a new segment I'm adding to these episode reviews. This is something I've been working on over with my great friends on the Elite Trainer Mark Discord server, which is linked in the description. It's the Pokemon Journeys Bingo Card Elite Trainer Mark Edition. Hey everyone, it's Mark. This is my recap for Pokemon Journeys episode 65, Dragon Battle, Satoshi vs. Iris. Excuse me. Dragon Battle, Ash vs. Iris. Iris talks about how even though she's a champion, she's still chasing her dream of becoming a Dragon Master, and there it is guys, she said the line, she called Ash a kid. And even though both of these guys are champions now, they're definitely still acting like kids, which shouldn't come as a surprise to anyone. So who's up next? Is it Excadrill, Emolga, Gible, that Goodra that Iris may or may not have? She says it's her trump card, so surely she can't mean Axew. Oh, hello, Axorus. Yeah, that cute little Axew sure has grown up. And Iris explains that her partner Pokemon has grown up to become her ace. Alright, let's kick off the discussion portion with a bingo update, and we've got our first tile on the bingo card to check off. Ashes Dracovish was actually shown battling in a World Coronation Series match. Go puts Flebebe's flower into a container since it can't be flown without all of its petals, and Flebebe positions itself atop Go's head. And now that Trainer and Pokemon are fully synchronized, their transformation into Go Flebebe is complete. What an unstoppable duo, truly a new form that can never be stopped. In other words, this was a meme that started over on my Discord server, and we now have a custom Go Flebebe emoji over there to celebrate the second coming of the Bond phenomenon. Let's get back to the actual episode. Final goodbye happens over on a cliffside, and everyone is super emotional, which is understandable because in the same episode that we got the birth of Go Flebebe, we get the release that was just as devastating as Ash and Greninja's. Wow, another XY reference. Of course, the next logical thing that happens is that Ash and Pikachu go from suspects to actually assisting Jenny on the case. Why wouldn't that happen? Ash and Go are excited to play the heroic role of policemen, but they immediately get sidetracked by some random events happening in Vermilion City that require Officer Jenny's assistance. And wait, what is that? Bingo! Well, okay, not actually bingo, but we do get to check something off the bingo card because I am counting this next scene as the opening theme playing ironically. This is a little subjective, but I get to make the official rulings around here. It is my bingo card after all, and considering this epic police montage was, well, not epic in the slightest, I'm calling this an ironic use of the opening theme. On the plus side, I thought the episode had really been slow up to this point, so at least this bit sparked some life back into it. It was pretty funny when these teenagers got pulled over for speeding on a Dodrio. That reminds me of the time I got pulled over for... Anyways, back to the episode.
All right, Ash, are you ready to rumble?
What battle theme do you want me to use for the background music? If you were the big boss that I was battling, what would your boss music be?
I don't know.
Oh, well, you gotta have some more creativity than that.
I don't know. You pick like some Pokeathlon music or something.
Pokeathlon music, okay. The most intense battle theme ever.
All right, let's see. Look at this team full of dark types thinking he's all fancy.
My team is very fancy. Thank you for noticing. Oh, here we go.
You know what? I'm gonna paralyze you.
How dare you? How dare you?
My Pichu will knock your freaking Tyranitar out, and I'll count that as a win.
I wanted to get my Tyranitar in there just because I needed to get Mega Evolution in there somewhere. Play rough.
Yeah,
Super effective.
let's go. Let's go.
Okay.
Go, Pichu. No. Pichu, you almost had it.
There it is. Boom. Mega Tyranitar.
Dang, destroyed.
Elite Trainer Mark won the battle.
GG's.
GG's. And we're trying to see if we can get bingo before Pokemon Journeys is over. In this episode, we checked off the third tile of the bingo card, Ash battling with his old Pokemon. Although Infernape didn't do too much in the battle against Moltres, it does count, so now we've got 2 down in the same row. Here are all 27 of Team Rocket's Pokemon, ranked from worst to best. Number 14, James's Chimecho. Chimecho may have only been on James's team for a little over 60 episodes during the Advanced Generation series, but it did make an impression on me during that short time frame. It was a feel-good story from the start. James had always wanted to catch himself a Chimecho, and it felt like it was just meant to be when the Wind Chime Pokemon showed up out of thin air and agreed to join James's team. James loved Chimecho so much, even when Jessie convinced him to let her use Chimecho in a contest, James could barely watch it battle and just hope Chimecho didn't get hurt. Its way of showing affection for its trainer was far less painful than some of James's other Pokemon, but nonetheless adorable. Chimecho's time in the anime was cut short during the Battle Frontier Saga in Kanto, in what is still to this day a very emotional episode where James had to leave behind a Pokemon that he cared for so much in order to let it rest and heal. I mean, the real reason it left the show was because they wanted to use Mime Jr. to hype the upcoming 4th generation, so they just swapped James's Psychic-type Pokemon. But don't let that stop you from remembering all the good times James and Chimecho shared. Number 7, Jessie's Dustox. Now we're getting into the real heavy hitters on this list. Jessie had Dustox in her party for over 250 episodes, and that alone should count for something in this ranking. In Hoenn, Dustox was Jessie's main contest Pokemon. It may not have been very successful at contests in Hoenn, but that doesn't mean Dustox wasn't trying its hardest and putting on some good performances. Their initial struggles in the Advanced Generation series just made it all the more sweet when Diamond and Pearl rolled around, and finally, after failure, Jessie finally won her first ever contest, and it was thanks to Dustox. Then there's the episode when Dustox got released. Like I said before, Dustox had been with Jessie for 250 episodes, so any release episode was going to be emotional, but man, this was like a better version of Bye Bye Butterfree in my opinion. That may be a hot take because it's Jessie we're talking about and not Ash, but for real, Jessie having to destroy Dustox's Pokeball because Dustox just didn't want to leave her side, it's so good and so sad too. I guess I may as well take the time now to mention that this episode's plot actually pretty much directly rips off a Japanese TV show called, okay, let me try this one, Hajimete no Atsukai. I think I did alright with that pronunciation. It was actually Luop who I heard point this out first, so shout out to him, but this TV show is literally watching little kids run an errand by themselves. Wow, how exciting. I guess I could see how this is appealing. I guess maybe Japanese mothers are all over this kind of content. I mean, my mom just watches boring TV shows like Love It or List It, which I don't even understand how that kind of stuff has an audience. With all that said, I am a 23-year-old spending his Friday night reviewing an episode of a cartoon show made for kids, so let's just keep going with this dumb errand episode. Bingo! Clearly, James had grown too close with Morpeko, so he finally made the decision to catch it, which checks off yet another tile on the Elite Trainer Mark bingo card. Ninetales isn't getting caught without a fight, so Go brings out his ace. Wow, I never realized how fitting of a term that is. Cinderace, or Aceburn, is Go's ace. Alright, let's move on. Cinderace and Ninetales battle for a bit, but Go doesn't make any progress in catching it. Then, whoa, a wild Regice appears. Hello. Imagine if this wasn't so heavily promoted in the few previews we've already seen, this would have been such a huge shock, and even though we already knew Regice was showing up in this episode, this still surprised me when it just popped up out of nowhere. Regice wasn't exactly the focus of this scene though. I mean, it sucked that we never even got to see Regice in the same frame as Ash, Go, or their Pokemon even once. I mean, all I wanted for a thumbnail image was a screenshot of Ash battling Regice, but oh well, at least Ash does spring into action, not the first time Pikachu has battled a Regice before. While that far more interesting thing is going on, the episode shifts its focus back to Go and this Ninetales, which I really do not care about when there's a Pikachu versus Regice battle going on off screen. Why couldn't we see more of that? I skipped over my thoughts on the new ending theme earlier, and kind of like with the eye catches making a return, I don't really have strong feelings about this ED. I didn't particularly like it since it's not much of an actual song, but maybe if I was a bigger Grookey fan, I would enjoy enjoy it more. However, the question format of this ending did create a pretty decent meme template, so I tried to make a couple of my own. Are any of them that creative or clever? Well, I don't know, but I had fun making them, so that's all that matters. And I should mention, even though I don't really care for the new eye catch or the ending, neither of those things affected my rating for this episode. RIP to Pokemon Shiratori though, that now holds the record for the longest running ED ever with 70 consecutive episodes. And we already know that journeys can be something totally different with every episode. That was true before Project Mew, and I don't think that's changing anytime soon. One week, it'll be Ash having an epic World Coronation Series match, then Chloe and Eevee will go on some adventure. The week after, I don't know, they'll be playing tic-tac-toe at the Cerise Laboratory or something like that, just complete filler. And then the very next week, Ash and Go will be traversing through a desert, searching for Regirock or something like that. It's gonna be all over the place because that's kind of what Journeys does. It's exciting because they could be taking on a trial mission in literally any region, but also frustrating because we may go 5 straight episodes without either a trial mission or a World Coronation Series battle. That's Journeys for ya. Back over with Ash and Pikachu, the rest of the Phalanx group are looking for a new captain to follow, much to Pikachu's discomfort. Ash tries to break them up, but, well...
Ash is making a fool of himself again.
They do start battling each other, and after some initial back and forth, the Phalanx start to work together really well and end up kind of taking the advantage, so much so that Ice Cube loses its Ice Face. Its other form is called Noise Face, right? Nice Face? Noise Face? I mean, it's not pronounced No Ice Face, right? I don't think so, or someone correct me down in the comments. Dawn and Chloe are still fighting when a Rhydon pops out of nowhere, looking very irritated and very sleep-deprived. This leads to a battle, and Chloe tells Eevee to use Tackle and lands a hit. Wait a minute, did Chloe just have Eevee use Tackle? Bingo! Of all the Elite Trainer Mark bingo tiles to get checked off in this episode, I did not expect it to be Chloe's Eevee using a move that is a copycat, but... well, here we are. Dawn lands a hit with Piplup's Bubble Beam, and yeah, here we go. This is more what I was expecting. Eevee uses Copycat to learn Bubble Beam and nails Rhydon so hard that it falls asleep. What is this, Ash's Rowlet? Other thing I really wanted to praise in this episode was the way Chloe was written. She was rightfully angry at her parents for canceling their vacation, and then she started acting, well, kind of like Dawn did at the start of her Pokemon journey. I pointed out the obvious references like Chloe's overpacked suitcase and her being worried about her hair, 2 things that happened to Dawn on the outset of her journey. The other parallel that we saw between the two in this episode was Dawn's carefree attitude, which contrasted significantly with Chloe's determination to have fun and make her vacation a good one. Think back to the start of Dawn's journey in Diamond and Pearl. Her catchphrase has always been "no need to worry," but at the start of DP, she did not embody that attitude much at all. She was so dead set on winning contests that she lost sight of having fun, and that even got her into a little bit of a depression. Ash and Brock got her out of that funk, and over the course of her adventure with them, she learned to let loose and be free. Wait, isn't that exactly what Chloe's mom told her to do in this episode? Oh yeah, it's all tying together. They are in Alola. Ash gets recognized pretty quickly by 2 other competitors who call him the Alola League champion.
アローラリーグのチャンピオン前にこっちの大会に出たんだその時優勝してさ
Bingo! By the way, I just realized that I've been saying bingo every single time something happens here, but we don't actually have bingo yet. It's just another tile getting checked off our bingo card. Regardless, I did not think Ash would be getting recognized as the Alola champion when I put this game together, so this was a shock to me when this was suddenly the big reveal. There is also a catching component to this race, and in order to move on, trainers must catch the required... Wait, is that Dawn? This is the moment that Ash brought back Volkner's electrifying passion for battling. Admittedly, things got a little weird after this. Volkner agrees to battle Ash, but just when the battle gets started, Team Rocket literally steals the entire Sunny Shore Tower. How is that even possible? Ash and Volkner work together to get the tower back, and during this mission, Ash's Grotto evolves into Torterra, and it was all downhill from there. Anyways, Volkner then predicts that Ash will make quite an impact in the Ultra class, and maybe even the Master class. Then, and hold on to your hats for this one, he says that Cynthia is in the Master class. What? That totally threw me off. I did not expect that announcement at all in this episode. We get to see some of Ash's competitors that were watching this match, including Cynthia, Bee, Raihan, and hey, Leon isn't watching Ash's battle. What is that he's watching instead? So yeah, on that bombshell to end the episode, we get this menacing image of what's to come in the World Coronation Series, and wait, is that Lance too? Hey everyone, it's Mark. This is my recap for Pokémon Journeys episode 78. The Cerise Laboratory is under attack. This was the 1163rd episode of the Pokemon anime, and another important evolution episode. That means we get to see the return of one of my favorite clips.
So, how long is it gonna be till the big Evolverama?
Just quickly before we go over the episode, I appreciate all the support on my recent videos. Last week's review got a great reception, although wow, I did get so many original comments comparing Vulcaner to this guy I've never heard of before. Minato, I guess? Yeah, I guess he's Naruto's dad or something. Whatever. You guys are all so cool and original for thinking the exact same obvious thing. Alright, enough about that. Let's talk about this episode. But Go steps into Protected, which causes Drizzile to remember some of their past experiences together and how Go has always been there for Drizzile. And yep, here we go. This is when the big Evolverama happens. So Drizzile is now in Teleon, and this is bad news for Yabushi and Kecleon, who try to run away before getting nailed with a snipe shot. Looks like all of Inteleon's training paid off. Inteleon actually saves the two villains from falling to the ground, which immediately causes Kecleon to get all overwhelmed by its new Prince Charming. This was a weird turn of events. Okay, so what's the resolution to this strange conflict? Are they going to send this guy blasting off like he's Team Rocket? Well, the one and only Mr. Professor Cerise appears, and this causes Yabushi to start fanboying over him, and he even admits that he just deleted the data because he wanted Professor Cerise to notice him. Wait, what? He also says that the data isn't actually deleted, and Professor Cerise even gives him an autograph. And I don't even know how to react to this. Like, what kind of conclusion to the story was this? Now, what about Ash's side of the bracket? We could see Bee and or Iris. I mean, they are probably both capable of making the Masters 8, but something tells me that neither of them will be there at the end. Who else could battle Ash then? Well, according to Bulbapedia, the Master Class consists of elite trainers.
It's nice to dream, but I don't think so.
Okay, that's not gonna happen, unfortunately. Guess who shows up to save the day? It's another Larvesta, and this one is shiny. It immediately evolves, and we've got the shiny Volcarona that we've been after. How convenient. And this god of fire sucks up all the flames, and absorbs them, I guess? After the danger is over, Volcarona gives everyone a golden shower. Wait, I cannot say that. How about Volcarona's golden scales rain down, and Go collects them, completing his first trial mission. Well, that was easier than I expected it to be. The episode isn't over yet, though. They head outside and see the hunter there waiting for him. And he's got backup. Uh-oh. Grookey and Pikachu jump into action, and this just made me laugh, because what in the world did Grookey think it was going to do here? Fun fact, Grookey has been in the anime for over 20 episodes now, and it has yet to use a move. Seriously, it hasn't used a single move. This thing may as well just be an inanimate object that Go wears as a clip-on accessory. Why did this thing have to replace Sobble? Alright, I need to pull myself together here, and so do Ash and Go, who look like they're in a tough spot. Number 4, Ash vs. Claire. Alright, I was initially pretty surprised that an original series gym battle made it this high up the list, but let me explain. For as long as I've had this channel, the most common and most frequent type of comment that I get in my videos is something along the lines of, I wish Ash would bring back his old Pokemon. For so long, we've all been craving for Ash to use his all-star team in a battle. Really, Ash vs. Claire is the only time that he's ever done anything like this. For a 3-on-3 battle, Ash does not have a much better lineup than Snorlax, Pikachu, and Charizard. Now, okay, Snorlax may be a level below the likes of Infernape or Greninja, but don't forget that this thing is massive, knows a ton of crazy moves, and it can spam Hyper Beam. This gym battle may not have the best action ever, especially when compared to today's standards, but it's so cool watching matchups like Snorlax vs. Kingdra and Pikachu vs. Gyarados. Also, I'm not as big on the actual animation aspect of the show as some people are, so even though this battle is animated far worse than a lot of the other battles that are this high up the list, it doesn't really matter to me. The final battle between Charizard and Dragonair may not be the most memorable thing that Charizard has ever done, but it's still a great display of Charizard's strength, and it's hard to go wrong with the classic Seismic Toss to finish a match. Ash recalling both Snorlax and Charizard to his team for one battle only made this a real clash of the heavyweights, and I think it deserves its spot in the rankings.
That's it! Flaming seismic toss!
Number 2, Ash vs. Olympia. After some controversial picks on my part, I think everyone can agree that Ash vs. Olympia is just an absolutely fantastic battle. The double battle format was unique, the battlefield looked amazing, it's arguably the best gym battle ever from an animation perspective, and Ash has to use a combination of brilliant strategy and great resilience in order to win. Olympia's team of a male and female Meowstic may not seem that intimidating at first glance, but these two are a real solid team. Ash uses Talonflame and Frogadier for this match, but Pikachu even plays a role too, acting as a timer to help Ash counter Olympia's Future Sight attack. This battle even has a fun detail that you may have missed during the climax. When Frogadier is withstanding Meowstic's Psyshock, for a second you can see Ash Greninja pop up in the background, as this battle was really a taste of what was to come for Ash and Greninja, with the match taking place in episode 93 of XY, the last one before the start of the XYZ season. I feel like I don't need to say anything more about this battle. It has so many good things about it and basically no flaws. What could possibly be better than this? Hey everyone, it's Mark. This is my recap for Pokémon Journeys episode 81. Wait, I mean episode 81, A Clash, Blue Pokemania. This was the 1166th episode of the Pokemon anime. And wait, did I just turn blue too? Oh well, let's just get into the episode review. The first activity is checking out this museum full of blue Pokemon art. Why does this exist? I have no idea. Anyways, Abel, I have no words to describe what happens next. I mean, I'll try to explain what happens here, but I was just shaking my head in disbelief during this entire scene. Alright, so Abel, who for some reason suddenly has this over-the-top alluring face, fantasizes about meeting this Brion from the picture, and this just really towed the line of weird, creepy, but also funny. Anyways, his fantasy bleeds over to real life here because he was also doing this dance with Eevee. But Eevee did not like it at all. How dare you almost make our poor little Eevee cry? That's it. This Abel jerk is a villain in my book now. How could you do this to little Eevee? Anyway, this nonsense was not already going off the rails. Guess who shows up next? It's Team Rocket, including the first sighting of James cross-dressing in quite some time. These freaks are all over Wobbuffet, and is it a little harsh of me to call them freaks? Well, no, absolutely not, because not only do they want a photo of Wobbuffet, but they want to do things like put the photo under their pillow and have wonderful dreams, or even get the picture printed on a body pillow. Oh god, we have totally lost the plot now. So the next activity is eating blue food in a cafe, but guess who's back? Not only does Abel's rival have pancakes, but they're pancakes made with the bartender's blue Pokélove? Ugh, gross. I don't want anyone's blue love all over my pancakes. I'm giving this episode a 10 out of 10 rating. Okay, I'm actually giving it a 5.5 out of 10, and there are no bingo tiles to check off once again this week. By the way, I actually legitimately like that song, I'm Blue. I know it's more of a meme than anything else, but I don't know. I have a weird taste in music, and plus I like the phrase I'm Blue, because my favorite football team is Everton, so technically I am a Blue, or a fan of the Blues. Anyways, this is besides the point. Next up is Bee, who appears to actually be at her gym for once, and she's battling with her Gigantamax Machamp. Of course, this is her ace Pokemon in Pokemon Sword, so really it's not that shocking to see it appear in the anime. So far, Graplock has been her main Pokemon, but maybe she's just been saving Machamp for a real challenge. What could that real challenge be, though? Well, let's get into what everyone is most excited about, and that's Ash using Mega Evolution.
I can't believe it.
Yeah, seriously, after all these years, Ash is finally going to be using Mega Evolution, and it'll be Lucario that does it. And for the moment of truth, she tries Ash's cake, and she actually likes it. She likes it so much that out of nowhere, she challenges Ash to a battle. Alright. As Opal puts it, since it's her tournament, she is the rules. Wait, that doesn't make grammatical. Okay, let's just move on. The battle gets underway with Pikachu taking on Alchemy, and oh yeah, Ash is actually battling another Galar gym leader. Bingo! Yeah, that's right, this actually checks off a bingo tile. When I made this game, I didn't actually think that Ash would battle any of the Galar gym leaders besides B, and well, maybe Raihan, but I certainly didn't think he'd battle Opal randomly. I already showed you what happened next. This was my favorite part of the episode when this little girl turns heel and summons the unknown to help her keep it nighttime forever. I mean, I don't think she meant to summon the unknown, but for some reason they are doing everything in their power to help this little girl's wish come true. Sounds pretty familiar. And just like those unknowns summoned an illusion Entei, these unknowns summon their own powerful illusions, this time in the form of Ash, Go, and Cynthia's Pokemon. Pikachu vs. Pikachu is a stalemate, as is Cinderace vs. Cinderace, but things get interesting once Sinnoh's champion decides to send out her ace, Garchomp. I was a little surprised to see it using Scale Shot, first time that move has been used in the anime, as it can only be learned in the games from the move tutor on the Isle of Armor. Cynthia starts to gain the upper hand when she calls for Sandstorm, which allows them to rain down Scale Shot from above, winning the battle. Afterwards, our heroes confront this evil supervillain. Okay, really, it's just a sad little girl. I'm giving this episode an 8 out of 10 rating. We may still be waiting on that 10 out of 10 episode, but we did check off one bingo tile this week. Kind of went under the radar with everything else going on, but one of Ash's World Coronation Series opponents did return, although Karina did not have too much to say about the competition herself. Which is fine, I guess. I don't particularly care about Karina's progress in the World Coronation Series because I didn't even think we would see her again after episode 25, and I still don't think she's going to come back for another battle with Ash. She was just here to help him obtain Mega Evolution. Number 5, Capacia Island UFO. Sticking with the theme of episodes that are more out there and creepy than traditionally scary, let's go to the Decalore Islands, where Ash and friends have an alien encounter. Well, it's Behem that are the antagonists here, but this whole episode has got the feeling of some kind of alien takeover to me. After James picks up what he believes to be an amulet coin that fell out of the sky, we see Ash waking up to a world where everyone except him and Pikachu seem to be brainwashed by Behem. I think the explanation for this was that since Ash picked up an actual amulet coin, he was lucky enough to avoid this transformation. Ash and Team Rocket end up having to team up, which is scary enough in itself, but it's so weird seeing the other humans basically turn into living puppets for the Behem. This dystopian city turns into one of the strangest settings ever in a Pokemon episode, but they do eventually manage to save the day by returning the missing piece of the Behem's UFO back to them, and thankfully now everyone can stop being creepy Behem pawns.
As you wish.
Ugh, this looks bad.
What's next?
What we always do.
Number 2, Abra and the Psychic Showdown. Oh boy, where do I even start with this one? For me, one of the scariest things that any kind of media can ever produce is a creepy ghost girl. Nope, no thank you. And guess how this episode opens, with Ash and friends lost in the wood at night when a creepy little girl appears. Oh man, not this. Ash gets tricked into following the little girl, and yeah, she leads him directly off a cliff. Ash manages to save himself in a pretty epic scene, and the little girl is nowhere to be found. But let's not forget about that attempted murder, which seemingly happened for no reason at all. Some more weird stuff happens, but let's just skip to the part where everyone arrives at the Saffron City gym. This place is pretty weird, and the gym trainers even seem to SPEYERE, the gym leader, who happens to be the creepy little girl. Oh no, it's just Sabrina, who apparently controls this doll with her psychic powers. Wait, so does that mean Sabrina tried to kill Ash? Well, it looks like one attempted murder wasn't enough, because the gym battle between Pikachu and Kadabra is about as one-sided as a battle can get. Ash eventually forfeits, and I guess I should have mentioned the additional stipulation of this match. If Ash lost, he and his friends would have to play with the creepy little doll. While that may seem innocent, they actually get transformed into doll-sized, well, dolls, but they can still move around. 2 episodes later, Sabrina would transform Brock and Misty into actual inanimate dolls, but for now, she just tries to kill them again by throwing her ball at them, before getting saved by some old man. All of this chaos is what led to Ash going to Lavender Town, and I already talked about what happened after that, but wow, what a wild way to introduce a gym leader. Sabrina is a complete psychopath, and apparently a homicidal one at that. After saying some of the same cliche stuff that everyone says when they have an epic battle against Ash, decides that it's time to break out the Dynamax band, and we finally get eyes on Gigantamax Machamp. Things are really picking up here, and the music is building up for an epic Mega Evolution. And we cut to a commercial. Oh, for fuck's sake, this was such a buzzkill. Anyways, now it's time for Ash and Lucario to finally Mega Evolve, and this was very cool to finally see happen. It's been a long time coming. Their Aura Sphere is now massive, and you can even see the extra aura flying around all over the place. Aura Sphere does get countered by Machamp's Max Steel Spike, and then a Max Strike stops Lucario in its tracks. The biggest pro I want to give Z-moves is the variety that Ash has available to him. As of right now, Ash can use normal, grass, rock, steel, and fire type Z-moves. In addition, he owns a Solganium Z, which I don't think he will be using anytime soon, as well as a Lycanium Z and a Pikachunium Z. So with that said, Ash can use 6 different types of Z-moves, and he can use 5 of those types with any of his Pokemon. He's not locked into using Z-moves with only one Pokemon like he currently is with Mega Evolution. This big burst of Dialga's power also devolves everything in sight, but for a brief second we get to see Go Sobble, so it was all worth it in my opinion. The end of this episode wraps things up very quickly. After getting sent back to the alternate universe, everyone's Pokemon start to turn back to normal, although I was hoping for Goz and Teleon to just remain a Sobble, but no, I can't have my wish. At least it was cool to see everyone happy about their Pokemon coming back to them though. In case you missed it, earlier this week I put out a discussion video analyzing the pros and cons of Dynamax Z-moves and Mega Evolution now that Ash can use all 3, and this video was doing pretty well until out of nowhere I got this email from YouTube saying that they changed the video settings to have it made for kids. This is actually a big deal because videos that are quote-unquote made for kids get recommended differently to people, it limits monetization, and it turns off all comments on the video, which sucks because the whole point of a discussion video like that is for all of us to discuss the topic, and it's really difficult to do that without any comments. Anyways, I got that issue fixed now, but just in case YouTube decides to try and label my stuff as made for kids again in the future, I came up with a new intro that should help prevent that from happening. Let me know what you guys think about this. Hey everyone, it's motherf***ing Mark. Yeah, that ought to do it. I'm giving this episode a 9 out of 10 rating. With this being the final episode of the year for Pokemon Journeys, I can tell you all that my average rating for the 42 episodes this year was a 7.1 out of 10, and that actually matches my 7.1 average that I have for this series overall. This episode gets a 9 though, and I considered rating it even higher. Like, I absolutely love this episode. I don't know if I'm just in the Christmas spirit or something like that, but this was one of my favorite Journeys episodes, I think. Should I make a top 10 list of the best Journeys episodes from this year? The first person that Ash ever roped into traveling with him was Misty, one of the Cerulean City gym leaders and an aspiring water Pokemon master. I would call her one of the sensational sisters, but, well...
I'm the 4th sensational sister!
There are only 3 sensational sisters and 1 runt.
So, which of Ash's traveling companions do you think we'll see in Pokemon Journeys? Which ones do you want to see, and why is it Luke? Okay, but for real, I hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys next time.